Civilization or Barbarism, an Authentic Anthropology by Dr. Cheikh Anta. Psychological factor. Continuing with the analysis of the three factors mentioned at the beginning of our account, we arrive now at the third and last constituent factor of the cultural personality, the psychic factor. Recognizable from the outset by everybody if it exists at all. The Greek physician Galen, who lived in the 2nd century AD, reduced the characteristic traits of the black person to two, which appeared fundamental to him: inordinate length of his penis, and two, hilarity, strong propensity for laughter. The black person is an hilarious human being with oversized genitalia. For Galen, these two traits, one physical and one moral, were enough to characterize the generic type of black, even though Galen regularly visited the library of the temple at Memphis, where he was the last Greek scholar, 6 centuries after Hippocrates, to consult Imhotep's annals. The brilliance of Egyptian civilization was about to be forgotten, and Rome was dominating the world. Galen was born 3 years after the death of Juvenal. We are witnessing the birth of the portrayal of the black in Western literature. The charactered identifications of blacks, starting from some psychological traits, more or less wrongly construed, will be pursued up to our days by authors badly in need of definitions, via Count author Joseph Gobineau, the ideological ancestor of the Nazis. For him, all art is a result of marriage between the vegetative sensibility of the black and inferior quality and the Apollonian rationality of the white, a superior quality. He writes, "Once this rigorous conclusion that the source from which the arts have sprung is alien to the civilizing instincts, it is hidden in the blood of blacks. This, one may say, is a beautiful crown that I put on the deformed head of the black, and it is a great honor that I give him to gather around him the harmonious choir of muses. The honor is not so great. I did not say that all the muses were gathered there. The noblest ones are missing, those who use thought, those who prefer beauty to passion. Let someone translate the Odyssey for him, and particularly the meeting between Ulysses and Narcissa, the sublime example of thoughtful inspiration. He will go to sleep in all human beings. In order for sympathy to be expressed, the intellect must first have understood, and this is where the difficulty lies with the black. The artistic sensibility of this being, in itself powerful beyond all expression, will thus remain necessarily limited to the most miserable uses. Also, among all of the art forms that the dark-skinned creature prefers, music holds first place because it caresses his ear with succession of sounds and requires nothing of the thinking part of his brain. How foreign he remains to the delicate conventions for which the European imagination has learned to ennoble its senses. The white's illuminated sensuality, directed by science and thought, with the first notes, as they say, begins to create a picture. The black sees none of that. He does not understand any part of it, and yet let us succeed in awakening his instincts. The enthusiasm, the emotion will have an intensity different from our contained delight and the satisfaction of decent people. I can see a Bambara listening to the performance of a tune that he likes. His face lights up, his eyes shine. He, he laughs, and his wide mouth shows, flashing in the midst of his dark face, his wide and sharp teeth. Enjoyment comes. Inarticulate sounds make an effort to come out of his throat. This is restrained by passion. Big tears run down his prominent cheeks. A little longer, and he is going to shout. The music stops. He is overcome by fatigue. Thus, the black possesses to the highest degree the sensual faculty without which art is not possible, and on the other hand, the absence of the intellectual aptitudes renders him completely unfit for the culture of the arts, even for the appreciation of what this noble application of human intelligence can produce of significance. In order to develop his faculties, he must ally himself with a differently gifted race. The artistic genius, equally foreign to the three great types, has manifested itself only after the marriage of blacks and whites. The Egyptian civilization, with its grandiose art entirely due to a black people, is the most categorical refutation of Gobineau's scholarly inanity, and we will not even bother to criticize this constellation of errors. We only want to stress the fact that the intellectual psychological climate created by all the writings of this type strongly conditioned the first definitions that the Negro African thinkers of the periods between the two world wars had tried to give to their culture. We'll pause right there and pick back up Civilization or Barbarism. I'm Uriel Riley. Hi, it's Harley.